Okay, so what we've got going on here is a little 6-inch by 4-inch cake. It's two 2-inch layers. And I'm just going to cover it in regular buttercream. And then before it crusts, I'm going to put a swirl into it. This is it's a succulent cake, and it's a fall cake, so it's a little rustic. So I'm just gonna, the nice thing about this is it doesn't matter how neat or how messy you frost your cake. You know me. Any way to hide any mistakes, no talent needed. So since I can't get a perfectly smooth cake, this is a perfect solution for getting the look I want. The more foolproof, the better. It's no wonder I never learned to ice nice and smooth, is because I never needed to. Okay. There's a way around everything. If there's a lazy way to do it, I will figure it out. So we'll just put some on the top here. This is probably a little thick, but that's okay. I usually thin my icing just a little bit when I frost, but we'll make it work. Anywhere I don't get good coverage, that's where a succulent goes, right? That's what the flowers are for. Succulents are all the rage right now, as is green wedding cakes. What's really neat is you can actually do this technique in a gradient fashion if you want, because you can actually just pipe some dark color and then a lighter color and then smear it and then do this technique, and it will look like a gradient. Okay, so here we are, somewhat smooth. Like I said, it's supposed to be rustic, so. You got to make sure you've got plenty of frosting on here, because we are going to be digging into the frosting and removing some of it. So make sure you got a nice thick layer, because a lot of it's going to come off. And you want it somewhat smooth. Okay, that's good enough. So before it crusts, we're going to want to take our spatula, and you can go from the bottom to the top or the top to the bottom, and you want to put it at a little bit of an angle. So I'm going to dig it in a little bit of an angle. Let's see, I'm going to start from the bottom, and I'm going to tilt it this way. And you just press in and swirl around. And every once in a while, you're going to take the excess off and just keep swirling. And you're going to overlap. So see how I'm overlapping? Notice I'm not lifting up, I just keep going. And it's going to smooth everything for you. You want to overlap the layer before it. And if you goof up, you can just smooth the whole thing and start over, which is even better. If you dig in too deep, you're going to end up with a bunch of extra pushing out, so don't dig in too deep. Try to keep a light hand. And we're just swirling it around. Now it's best if your frosting doesn't have a lot of air bubbles in it. If you've got a lot of air bubbles, you will see a lot of places where it looks, you can see where I've got kind of air bubbles right here. And you can go over it again to smooth it out. I also have a spot here where I kind of dug in a little too much. You can just patch it and go right over it again. And then you can continue swirling. What I'm going to do is smooth this top, smooth it in, and then continue swirling for the top of the tier. Whoops. Now I didn't have to do this with the bottom because this is going to sit on it. Oops, not quite. You want to make sure you overlap your previous row, just like when you do ruffles. Overlap that previous row. And you can do bigger ones, little ones. I'm kind of getting into an oval here. There we go. But you get the general idea. We'll clean the bottom up. Looks like I've got a little bit of air in my frosting. And again, I can fix that just by going over it again. Look at, see, just go over it again with a light hand. Just go right over where you were. And then eventually you're going to end up with, here, something like that, where the swirls are fairly even. And it's supposed to kind of spiral up. And then what we do is set this on that, and I can continue fixing it.